The Old Ways by Kelarus, the Lore Master. A guide to the Psijic order and their beliefs. We who know the old ways are well aware of the existence of a spiritual world invisible to the unenlightened, just as one living in a kingdom but unaware of the political machinations underneath may see a new tax or battle preparation as the caprices of fortune. Many observe floods, famines, and madness with helpless incomprehension. This is deplorable. As the great Cuilean Darnizhaan moaned, the power of ignorance can shatter ebony like glass. What, after all, is the origin of these spiritual forces that move the invisible strings of Mundus? Any neophyte of Artaeum knows that these spirits are our ancestors, and that, while living, they too were bewildered by the spirits of their ancestors, and so on back to the original Acharyae. The Daedra and gods to whom the common people turn are no more than the spirits of superior men and women whose power and passion granted them great influence in the afterworld. Certainly this is our truth and our religion, but how does it help us in our sacred duty of Siliphense, or providing grave and faithful counsel to lesser men and women? Primarily, it is easy to grasp the necessity both of endowing good men and women with great power and making powerful men and women good. We recognize the multiple threats that a strong tyrant represents. Breeds cruelty, which feeds the Daedra Boethia, and hatred, which feeds the Daedra Vermina. If he or she should die having performed a particularly malevolent act, he or she may go to rule in oblivion. And worst of all, he or she inspires other villains to thirst after power, and other rulers to embrace villainy. Knowing this, we have developed patience in our dealings with such despots. They should be crippled, humiliated, impoverished, imprisoned. Other counselors may advocate assassination or warfare, which aside from its spiritual insignificance, is expensive and likely to inflict at least as much pain on the innocents as the brutish dictator. No, we are intelligence gatherers, dignified diplomats, not revolutionaries. How, then, are our counselors faithful? We are faithful only to the old ways. It is essential always to remember the spiritual world while keeping our eyes open in the physical one. Performing the rites of Mawitha on the second of Half-Fire and Vigeld on the first of Second Seed are essential means of empowering salutary spirits and debilitating unclean ones. How, then, are we at once faithful to those we counsel and to the Isle of Artaeum? Perhaps the sage Taharite said it best. In Mundus, conflict and disparity are what bring change, and change is the most sacred of the 11 forces. Change is the force without focus or origin. It is the duty of the disciplined Psijic, enlightened one, to dilute change where it brings greed, gluttony, sloth, ignorance, prejudice, cruelty. Here, Taharite lists the rest of the 111 prodigalities, and to encourage change where it brings excellence, beauty, happiness, and enlightenment. As such, the faithful counsel has but one master, his or her mind. If the man or woman the Psijic counsels acts wickedly and brings oegnathia, bad change, and will otherwise not be counselled, it is the Psijic's duty to counterbalance the oegnathia by any means necessary. Emphasis, mine. A student of the old ways may indeed ally him or herself to a lord, but it is a risky relationship. It cannot be stressed enough that the choice be wisely made. Should the lord refuse wise counsel and order the Psijic, to use Taharite's outmoded word, to perform an act contrary to the teachings of the old ways, there are few available options. The Psijic may obey, albeit unwillingly, and fall prey to the dark forces against which he or she has devoted his or her life. The Psijic may abandon his or her lord, which will bring shame on him or her and the Isle of Artaeum, and so may never be allowed home again, or the Psijic may simply kill him or herself.